This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and this is Jeskai Cycling. I'm excited to show you this deck for many reasons, but one that I'll highlight right away is it is a pretty good budget deck. Now, I get asked all the time to make budget decks, and if I am not in the middle of something else, such as playing a game of Magic on stream, I will try to answer the question more thoroughly, which is, no, I don't set out to make budget decks. I set out to make good decks, and every now and then I'll find one that is pretty budget reasonable, but might also be good. So that is where we are today. So I'm excited to share with you Jeskai Cycling, where there are no rare cards in the spell category, no mythics in the entire deck. There is a rare Lurrus companion in the sideboard, which you don't necessarily need, and there are the rare dual lands. So, lots of rare dual lands. But aside from that, I mean, if you're willing to invest in the lands, or you want to play some gain lands instead and more basics, this is a very budget-friendly deck. So, yay for that. But is it actually good? The deck is surprisingly aggressive and resilient. It has early turn superstars like the Flourishing Fox and Valiant Rescuer that can take over the board very quickly. It has Ominous Seas, which can create large Kraken tokens over the course of the game as a repeated threat engine and is best against control decks. Drannith Stinger can deal direct damage to the opponent every time you cycle a card, and the deck often wins with very explosive cards like Zenith Flare. Another way to kind of play a turn 2, like the Valiant Rescuer and the Fox, source of kind of this incremental damage over the course of the game is Improbable Alliance, which is one of the only cards in the deck without cycling, Zenith Flare being the other. But there's not much removal, so you need to take a very aggressive stance in matchups wherever possible, because you are going to probably need to attack the opponent to force them to trade away their resources. There is Go for Blood, and your best chance there is to get the Fox large enough so that a Go for Blood with the Fox is a removal spell, but for the most part, we don't run removal. Another interesting trick is Startling Development, which can turn a creature into a 4/4 Serpent until end of turn. This is actually a good way to get extra damage in. You can, say, use the Startling Development on a Fairy or on a 1/1 from Valiant Rescuer. It also functions as a removal spell if the opponent blocked your 1/1 and then you turn it into a 4/4. So there are some creative ways to kill things. And Boon of the Wishgiver is mostly a cycle, but just in case, very late in the game, sometimes you just need that draw 4. Like I said, Lurrus is completely unnecessary. It just happens that the deck fits the requirement. So, if you want to, say on turn 5, play a Lurrus and cast a creature that you cycled earlier from the graveyard, it's a good little mid-range value turn to set you up for success later in the game. For the most part, I don't end up casting my Drannith healers. They're nice at gaining life, but they're also super fragile, and they're not that useful. So, for the most part, what I'm looking to play early is a Fox, a Rescuer, an Improbable Alliance, or a Stinger. And then from there, just cycle, and Zenith Flare to finish the game. Let's go play an event and see how this crazy cycling Jeskai deck does. Let's dive in, let the nonsense begin. Game 1, we've got some Rescuers and a Healer and a Startling Development, and I think that's fine. On the draw, I'm worried this won't be very good, but we'll see. Opponent's going to crack their Fabled Passage in their main phase. Alright. Triome. Triome. I know. God. They'll never be satisfied. Alright. You're like, who are you talking to? I'm talking to you. This isn't on Twitch. I'm talking directly to you, YouTube viewer. You'll never be satisfied. Alright, so you're gonna kill that, or what? Scorching Dragonfire. Might be Teamer Reclamation. Ooh, we can get Ominous up in here. Is that fast enough against Teamer Reclamation, though? I don't feel like it is. we've got to apply pressure. So they have a mystical dispute. That's another reason not to try to resolve a thingamajig. All right, we can do this at instant speed. We don't have to do this now. The cycling part. Yeah, we don't want to play an Ominous Seas into a mystical dispute. Our opponent has Uro. Okay, well that's a problem. All right, so we do need to find a land. Improbable Alliance, that gets hit by the mystical dispute. So let's just play another Valiant Rescuer. Our opponent might have a Storm's Wrath, but right now they don't have double red. And like I said, we want to apply a lot of pressure. For those of you suggesting in comments that Mystical Dispute doesn't stick, that it doesn't stick when you cast a white spell, they changed it recently, and it actually does. It sticks when you have one blue open for any spell that is cast. You can attempt to Mystical Dispute it, you just can't actually play it. Which is kind of weird, but, you know. In the Wizard's infinite wisdom, it is whatever it is. Alright, so it's only the first card you cycle each turn that gives you a 1/1. So I think we should have cycled one thing on our turn. That's something I just have to get used to. Alright, let's cycle the seas. Make another couple of critters on our turn. Draw a card. Alright, we did hit the untapped land, so now we have 3 mana open, so we can cycle the Triome if we wish. We also have a Boon of the Wishgiver. I'm still not playing Improbable Alliance into the counter. Growth Spiral on the stack. The opponent thinking about an Expansion Explosion here. And we are getting pretty close to Zenith Flare having the potential to go lethal. Also, if the opponent does Storm's Wrath our board, we can always Lurrus, bring back a Rescuer. The opponent with a good game after Uro, and it looks like they just got stuck on 4 lands. So for those of you who want to make fun of me for suggesting 28 lands in my Teamer Rec deck, and that will do it. Valiant Rescuer carrying the day. Alright, very tempting to keep and try to cycle my way to lands, but that's probably not where we wish to be. Besides, mulliganing aggressively with this deck is pretty easy since everything cycles. Now this hand is like a turn 1 Flourishing Fox and then try to pump it and beat down, so I like it. We can put back one of the Ominous Seas since they cost 2 to cycle. The other cards cost 1. Here, Foxy Foxy. Alright, blue mana. Ooh, second Fox. Love it. For our opponents on a control style deck, they're going to take a lot of pain here. Let's cycle the blue card because we don't have a blue source yet. Never mind. Crushing it. Although at this point, probably just cycle away the seas as well. Blue-green. You think there's Simic Flash? Well, let's go here. Let's attack. When you cycle another card, put a counter on it. So this doesn't have the first card of the turn limitation that the Valiant Rescuer had. Opponent taking some time here. They could have Growth Spiral, they could have Brazen Borrower. So let's do the cyclings. I think I'll just cycle the seas. If they do have a Brazen Borrower, I can replay one of the foxes. Or I could just let them bounce it anyway. Yeah, let's not hold back. Let's be aggressive. Could just as easily be a growth spiral. Smash, smash. Mega Fox. And it is a growth spiral. But there is potentially lethal damage from one cycle next turn. The opponent plays Wilderness Reclamation. Alright. These cycles for 2. This does a damage whenever you cycle something. I think we'll just cycle this and get into the red zone. What you got, opponent? Dead. They're dead. That's it. Oh my goodness. The vicious fox. This is okay. It doesn't have a lot of early plays unless we want to run out a stinger, which isn't great, but we do have the Lurrus. We have 3 lands. We'll keep it. We have the Flare. 2 Flare. So what's our opponent up to? They're poking around. Birth. Okay. How about a startling development cycle? So our opponent might be on Jeskai control. We're a bit short of real pressure. Playing this 2-2 to just get some damage in whenever we cycle a card feels kind of weak. But it could be worse. It could be worse. Oh, okay. Bone Crusher Giant. Alright, some kind of a mix of Jeskai stuff. Startling development might be useful against somebody who's going to cast Bone Crusher Giant. We'll have to see. Alright, the giant is here. Go for blood. It's a fight card. I could Startling Development into a 4/4 and go for blood to kill the giant. It just doesn't seem any good. So I'm going to play other Stinger and just try to keep cycling stuff and race my opponent. How about this? This says whenever you cycle another card, not once per turn restriction like we saw in the Valiant Rescuer. So we can say go and then cycle some things. Cavalier of Flame. Okay, there's some kind of Jeskai with Birth of Meletus and with no Karuga. So they're a little different. A little different. Giant. No blocks. I think what we want to do is fill up our graveyard and then start Zenith flaring the face. Okay, we're still hitting plenty of critters. There's a fox. But let's see, we could cycle these. And then when those go to the graveyard, we're up to 7 points for flare. That's 14 damage. So it's actually really close to being lethal here. We just have to be ready to cast some stuff. So if we cycle this and these two die, that's 6, 7, 8 for a flare, and then 8 for another flare. So potentially lethal. Let's say go and see what happens. I'm counting these being in the graveyard because I plan to block with them. Deafening Clarion could definitely throw a wrench into the plan. It would kill their own Bone Crusher though. And then we might have to Zenith Flare the Cavalier, because the lifelink would really mess us up. Alright, it's a Bone Crusher Giant. Let's cycle the healer. Do some damage. Alright, Fox. This can resolve. Card with cycling goes to the graveyard. Flare goes up to 7. Opponent plays the giant. They probably feel pretty ahead now, considering they're sizable creatures. Down to 6. But then Pew pew. And pew pew. That feels cheesy but effective. Again, we have a double stinger, so I think I'll try it. You can play this tapped, then play stinger, then play stinger cycle. Start doing 2 points per cycle. Might be a little slow. We don't have any flares. We don't have any foxes. But let's see what happens. The cat. Oh boy. Well, there's a card I can play for 2 mana. Curious to see what an army of fairies does against the kitten. And no companion here either. Most of the food decks now have companions. We'll have to shock for the Foundry too, unless we draw an untapped blue or untapped red that doesn't hurt us. What do you know? Wow. Cool deck. How does it work? They're waiting to see if I concede. I guess so. What a jerk. Alright, so I'm going to play out the stinger to have something to try to cut off the damage from these cats, and then I will play Alliance next turn and cycle something. I'd prefer to have the one that gained a life whenever I cycle. Also, for those of you who dare get into comments and say Cat Oven doesn't take that long, Cat Oven isn't that slow. Some of you exist. I saw you in the last video. I just watch this game. Just watch this game. You're assuming Cat Oven is not slow when played optimally by people who have the, you know, some semblance of time in what they're doing. Not everybody plays that magic. Not everybody rolls that way. Alright, we don't have a way to gain life quite yet, and Lurrus is not going to do it. We need the Drannith Healer, not the Drannith Stinger. No point in attacking when the opponent can do the Cat Oven trick. Roxa, sure. I've got plenty to discard. And that's their first card in the graveyard. They didn't use it to make 2 foods. I guess they could have attacked with all the cats too, but they did not. I'm gonna seize. We need to do some main phase cycling here, hopefully to hit a land. Do I want to play another Stinger? I guess so. Alright, so there's 2 damage, make a fairy. Got a few 2/2s here. We miss on the land. It's kind of an ouch. Alright. Get the fairy in there. We're getting in the rhythm. We're getting in sort of the rhythm of the Cat Oven. Opponent hasn't roped me in a few turns. I should probably send some kind of a thank you message. Alright, another Croxa. Opponent thinks they're croakies. I understand. He's such a cool guy. Do we start making 1/1s to attack with those? Or do we just cycle like crazy trying to find the Zenith Flare? I think we try to find the Flare, to be honest. Another land. So we can cycle 2 things next turn, which will make another fairy, but I have to take 2 damage to do that. That's not a good deal. Still holding these back to absorb the cat hits. I don't know. I don't think it was worth taking 2 damage there, since the opponent's trying to just kind of drain me out. And they don't have a lot of ways through my defenses otherwise than getting like Serrated Scorpions, Mayhem Devils, and Cauldron Familiars. So I don't think I should be paying life where I can help it. That's annoying. I'm curious if they're going to go at my face though, or after these fairies. Come on, Zenith Flare, where are you? Where the heck are you? So we have a Go for Blood. We could play the Flourishing Fox and try to build it up to fight the Mayhem Devil. I just don't think that's very good. That doesn't seem like a very good line to me. We could play the Lurrus and try to draw the opponent's attention with it, which can play something from the graveyard. But I think we just want to keep cycling, to be honest. And trying to get the damage through and find the Zenith Flare. I think that's how we actually win the game. Also, if the opponent starts shooting at the fairies, I'm going to be really happy about it. Like, that is pretty good. Yep. Okay. Well, it's working. And they're still draining me a little, so it's not great. But man, do I need to find a healer or a flare. Alright, cycle. Alright, come on now. With 2 cycles on my opponent's turn, we can also make a fairy and get 2 cards deeper. 42 cards in the deck. I feel like I'm missing the goods. But they might still be there. We just gotta play for it. The opponent is on 1 oven, 1 cat. It could be worse. Okay, the devil wants to attack. Our opponent could run the thing if I block with 2, so let's do this. I think what I'm going to try to do is make another fairy and block with 3 things. So that's the second card that should trigger the alliance. So the opponent would have to kill... Now if they kill 1 stinger, they still lose the devil. And this also forces a lot of action. We have a Startling Development. This can make a fairy a 4/4 to go hit the opponent in the face. And we're definitely in this range where we just find Zenith Flare, and I think we win. So just keep digging. Make things awkward for the opponent. Make them shoot the Mayhem Devil pings and their removal spells at my creatures instead of my face. And we should be able to find a way. Alright. We can play Lurrus next turn and play a healer or a stinger as well to get a stinger back on the field. And there you go. Mayhem Devil dead. Still not many cards in the graveyard. Oh, I see. I see what you're doing. That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Do we want to play this and try to gain some life? It would only take one ping to kill it. There's no other way to kill this thing. It's not really what the deck does, is it? I think I'm just in cycle mode. Let's start by cycling you. Because we get a fairy for that. There's the flare. With 12? Bingo. There we go. Like I said, stay alive, find the flare. Alright, let's roll. What does the fox say? You die. Let's go. Next turn we could either pump it to a 3/3 or use the stinger. Oh, okay. Alright, opponent. If that's the way it's gonna be, let's go bigger fox time. We're just going to show the opponent who the beatdown really is. I wouldn't block anyway there because I don't want to fall to double shock. Wow, our opponent actually put Fire Prophecy, a different card in their mono red deck. I'm flabbergasted. All right, let's play Rescuer. I'm not sure which land I want more. I guess I want double white for Lurrus. And we'll cycle the Go for Blood. Make a 1/1 to block the Spitter. Run away now. Alright. There's an alliance, that's something. We're up to 5 cycling cards in the graveyard. So what I feel like is I should just kill the Steamkin. Letting a Steamkin live has never gone well for anybody ever. Casual gain 5. I guess you have a light up the stage, because I'm taking that trade. Ooh, Annex. That's what we needed to not see. To not see. Oh, feels bad, man. All right. Baby Annex for the moment, but it's gonna get worse. Let's cycle here. See if we draw the untapped land. Nope. That was a pretty bad turn. That was really bad. Well, now the opponent has all the tools. Blocking the 1/1s doesn't do much. They just replace themselves. All right, another white source. So Lurrus can come out. Lurrus can get us a Rescuer or a Fox. I don't really like any of that. I think I'm better off with a Valiant Rescuer and a Cycle. Just to make a whole bunch more blockers. Is that an Embercleave? It has to be, doesn't it? It's not. Cool. I still get the 1/1, and I still get the Improbable Alliance Fairy. Opponent is certainly relentless. That's the way red is supposed to be, right? Can they cycle that? I think they can. So just a free card that Robert gets you now. Good deal. We're falling way behind here. We've got a fox, though. We could play Lurrus, get back a fox, and cycle a fox. We could also shock and do something a little different there, but I think this is the play. All right, another rescuer. Keep it going. We're fighting. We are fighters. They drew Embercleave. Yay for Embercleave. I think we just go like this. It is what it is. Oh, okay. Could have been worse. The flare for 9. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We could cycle the rescuer to get what to make it for 10. Like this. Makes a fairy. Play this tapped. Say go. It's instant speed, so if they have the Embercleave, we can blow up a creature before that happens. Alright. Let's go to block over here. If they use the castle. They're just passing the damage, sure. Alright, now we'll do it. 10 life. Yay. Another stage, another couple dorks. And a Bone Crusher Giant. Swimming uphill. Alright, we drew the Seas. Is this a place where we want to play it? No. We have to keep cycling. We have to keep making blockers. Nice. We can save this. We don't have to do it now. We might even end up casting it. Depends. Alright. Own it with their lovely double Fervent Champions. So much power. It won't make a fairy if we cycle this because it will be our first card for the turn. That's why we're not doing it. Yep, it's gonna hurt. So do we cast Boon of the Wishgiver and draw 4? I don't think that's good enough, but if we don't, like, what are we doing? I guess we can still activate the Alliance to loot. So let's cycle. I just need better options. It's just too much. Oh my god. That's brutal. Alright, now we have to draw into a cycling card. That is brutal, though. That doesn't... Well, it cycles, but it doesn't cycle right now. We needed a 1-mana cycler, and we didn't get it. Alright, this drops us to dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that won't work. So we've got a block here. Alright, it's kind of now or never for another Zenith Flare, isn't it? Alright, I guess never is the answer. That was a painful game. That was a very painful game to play. Back against the wall. And fighting Lurrus. So if it's another sacrifice deck, this is so tedious. I know I'm a Lurrus deck too. But man, I'm so sick of Lurrus Cat Oven. And it looks like that's what we get. So no hello for you. Let's, I guess, run out of Fox. It's one thing to play against it once or twice. To play against it in like 3 of your 7 rounds is... It just starts to wear you down. It just drains you. Like a serrated scorpion might. Can I kill that? Not this turn, because I went second. Brutal. Brutal. Going second means you don't get nice things. I don't think there's a good way to do this. Here's what I will do. Let's play another fox, and then we'll try to move one of our foxes up to big enough to use Go for Blood. Multiple flares. That's a lot of Zenith Flare. What I'm concerned about is if we will find the land. My god, we're already at 9? Not a claim too. Oh, god, I hate this deck. I hate you so much. Magic is a zero-sum game as far as fun goes now, isn't it? Don't you guys agree? The only player who gets to have fun is the one who's winning. I do understand, though. I get it. It's great. It's just great. All right. Cycle you. We need to hit our land drop at the least. Okay. Let's do this again. And see if the opponent can lethal me. They don't even have to lethal me. If they get me down to 2, I can't flare. Alright, 6. The squad. The priest. The third one, why not? Alright. We're just going face. I don't care anymore. Nothing but the face. We're gonna cycle and hit face in endless fashion. I need to get more cycling things in the graveyard though. So we might end up like playing healer. Okay, am I dead? Hurry up. I feel like they can do it. Sacrifice 2 scorpions, use 2 black to use Whisper Squad, sacrifice 2 squads. Yeah, I'm dead. Alright, let's lock in those prizes. From 4-0 to 4-3, just like that, because, yeah, frickin' Lurrus, man. Frickin' Lurrus, frickin' Red, you know me. Those decks annoy me, but it's okay. I'll live with it. I felt like our draws were medium. There's definitely a lack of removal in the deck. Go for Blood is certainly not reliable removal. They also had the nuts to take out our foxes in each of those games, whereas normally if we can stick a fox and keep a fox going, we'll be fine. So I think that's the main problem that we ran into, and I don't have a ton of regrets. It's okay. This deck is pretty fun. I don't think there's a lot of room for substitution, but Ominous Seas is realistically terrible. I couldn't find a single game where I wanted to stick this card and make creatures with it. I never had the time. I guess against mono red I could have played it on turn 2, but even then it just seems so bad. But it's probably better than anything else you could put in the spot. So the Lurrus is fine. Just having this backup little value turn in the bank if you actually need it is good. But yeah, gotta figure out, are we favored in those sacrifice matchups? I feel like the last 2 games that you saw, they just had the perfect answers at each point, and otherwise Fox could have taken it, but we'll see. Do love the Zenith flares out of nowhere. It's a very good time. All right, thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.